In this lesson, we're going to finish the last section that we were working on. The move is going to end. The last time we ended up in this move, and then it's going to be a jump into that. We'll cover coming up to this in a quick review, but it's going to be kind of a difficult move, and I'm going to try to break it down as best as I can to describe the easier method that you can kind of do this move. Rather than kind of the full jump is you'll see when we get into it. So I'm going to kind of like cut this shorter so that we came from this position here, we went pointing and then over into this, and the next move is looks like that. So you're going from a overhead chop into a spinning overhead chop. So again, why don't we just do that last whole section again? From here, from the cat on guard position, do the thrust, come back, thrust, wrap, press and kick, press, point, overhead, and then into the jump. When you finish the jump, it's preferable if you can land on both legs coming down simultaneously, rather than one leg and then the other leg. But in order to learn that jump, might have to alter it a little bit, make it easier. And again, I'll do the jump from this view here. So the theory or the ideal is that this circle of the sword will be perfectly in a vertical line. And then the jump kind of works around that. And also, as you come down to the first slice and you come up like this, creates the momentum for the jump like that. Try to best avoid your sword wandering out of that vertical line as much as possible. So one of the things that helps me establish that vertical line is to, as I'm doing the jump, try to come down through the center as part of the jump from here and like that. From here, like that. Now, again, there's various ways that you can perform forms. And one of the ways, I like to break my forms down so that each move shows its own function rather than kind of going too rapidly through the form as kind of like a racehorse. You don't need to do that. You need to kind of learn each movement within the form. So I like to come down into the and then into this move next. But it's also okay to come out of here into the spin jump immediately. But again, I don't like that because you don't emphasize that first strike as much. So my preferred way, one, and then to jump two. But if you want, you can do it continuously, and sometimes it's easier for some people because you can gain that momentum from coming down into the first one, right into the jump of the second one. Again, in order to learn to jump, you have to have a methodology to break it down, and you can't. In doing something like this, you can only do it so slow motion, so much. You can't really, break everything down, and then at some point you just have to kind of go for it. So again, from here, I like to emphasize this. So here, like that. So again, one of the things that helps me in establishing this is thinking about trying to have this kind of action. And again, this way, if you try that, you can do it a little slower because you could go from here and then hop into the finish. And that'll kind of give you a feeling of how the move should be sequentially. So again, from here, just kind of as you come up, lift this leg up, and then think about hopping over something back here into this position here. So that would be a good way to learn it. Just kind of break it down here, like that. But you notice that if I do it that way, landing 1, 2, rather than both legs solidly at the same time. But again, I think theoretically that's a good way to learn it, so that you get that feeling of a straight slice and this foot lifting up to gain the momentum for the jump. Okay. So again, you're going to go from here and then end up here. Okay, so you notice that right here, I'm ending up in pretty much the same place. You can also do 2 other ways. There's kind of 3 variations: moving forward, moving back, in the same place. So in the same place, you're going to end up in the same place. If you want to move forward, what you're going to do is take that first, what I was explaining, and come off this leg here, and then move forward as you do the spin. So again, from here, it looks like that. See how I move forward about 1 step. You can also move back by, instead of coming up off the left leg, you can come up off the right leg. So you can come like that. A little bit harder to do. But again, like that. So functioning slice, slice, overhead slice. Okay. One of the reasons that I gave you for being able to alter going forward or back or doing it in the same space is because a lot of times when you're performing a form, like for example in a performance or something like that, knowing that how much room you have to move and knowing the structure of the form will kind of force you to alter the form a little bit to fit that space. And because the way this move is structured, a lot of it takes place on this side of the center. And so to complete the form, in order to do 3 full backward slices, you should be way over here when you do that finishing move so that you have room to do these slices moving back. Otherwise, you only can do maybe 1 or 2, even 2 or maybe even 1. And so you want to be as far over on that last here. So if you're performing the form and you just all of a sudden realize you're way too much over here, being able to move forward to give you that room to finish the form is a good reason why you would actually prefer that forward moving jump. Again, in the same token, if you're way too far for some reason over here as you did your form, moving back to give you more space so that you could be the end over there. So when you do the next section, you need to start way back over here to perform all the moves in that space. So you need to really know your form well enough to know where you should be at a particular point. And if you were too far back over here, then you wouldn't have enough room for that next section. So that's one of the reasons why I gave you those alternatives of moving forward and back, and also stylistically going from flow right into move is another option. So with any given form, there's many different ways to perform it. And as I teach the form, I teach the basic structure of how it was taught to me by throwing these little other tidbits so that you can learn how to modify your form to adjust both spatial wise, function wise, and basically your own the way that you move. So it's always good to know those things. So let's get into the backward slicing part. So again, you're going to end up in this northern horse, knees in slightly, and the sword down. Okay. So again, we'll do it from here. From here, here. From here, you're going to do the basic wrap, and you're going to be facing kind of going back from here, going back in this direction. So you're going to do the wrap, and as you come down, you'll be facing 3 o'clock. Okay. So from here, you're going to do the wrap, and then come back down. Then you're going to do a low slice, and right out of coming out of the slice, you're going to come back up as you do the wrap and sit down again. Okay, so from this position here, you can come up to do the wrap and then back down. Or you can go from here, you do the wrap right into the low. And this is a low slice, slicing the opponent's ankle. And then to step back, you're going to rise to step back, and then drop down, slice again. Wrap as you come up and step, drop down, 3. Ideally, there's 3 slices in this. Okay, so I'm going to be over here as far as we can. Here, wrap, drop down, slice, up, step, drop down, slice, step, wrap. Here, one more time. From the horse and the sideways downward chop, wrap, drop down, slice. So you see how I use the slice and the wrap to gain momentum to step back. Again, from here, drop down like that. As you do it faster, that's what's going to happen. Here, wrap, drop down, slice. So use the momentum of that slice and wrap to propel yourself back. And then here, drop down, slice, and slice. See how much room that took up? So for the lesson, I'll do 2 wraps walking back so we could do the end. Okay. From the downward chop, wrap, got down, slice. Come back up as you wrap. Do the all wrap, full wrap, drop down, slice. One more time. So on the third one, you're going to jump into the cat like the other lines. So you're not going to be able to do the slice and then the step because you have to be able to do the jump. So what you're going to have to do is slice and then right about here, jump into the cat. Okay. This is what it's going to look like. I'm going to do two full walking back and an ending jump. Here, wrap, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if in case you find yourself forgetting at the end that you were going to supposed to do that jump at the end, you can modify it again a little bit by going 1, 2, 3, and change it to that. Remember in the previous lessons, I showed you how to modify that jump. Do it straight out of the walk into the jump, or do the walk and then the stance. So those are all options for you, especially if you're doing it slow. Let's do it slow. From this position here, you're going to wrap, slice, low slice, step, drop down, low slice, drop down, one more, low slice, drop down, right into the cap. And that would be an acceptable way to practice when you're just learning the form. So let's take that last two moves together. We'll do it slow. So again, I'm going to do it the slow method, where I'm going to come up and hop. Okay, so should be here would be good. Again, I'm only going to have enough space to do 2 wraps and finish into the jump. So in order to kind of keep it within the space that I'm filming, that's how I'm going to do it. So from here, the easiest way is to come slice and come over and hop. Okay, that's just the way you're going to have to learn that first. And then wrap back, drop down, slice, step, drop down, slice, like that. Okay, and then as you get more proficient, it's going to look more like this. Okay, that's it for today's lesson. Thank you.